What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay. Today I am joined by Jamal O'Guinn, who is a baseball player at the University of Southern California. Jamal, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. How you doing?
Good. So how have you been, man? I know this is a different time of this year. So are you back at school?
Yeah, I'm back at school. I'm doing well. Can't complain. You know what I mean? I'm able to work out, hit the weight room. I have access to a cage, live pitching. So, I definitely have it better than some, probably most. But, definitely still it's not the same not practicing with your team and being able to be out in the field every day.
Well, it's a good thing you can look at the positives of this situation. So what's it like from a school perspective? Is USC all remote? Are some people there? Is it hybrid?
I think they say it's hybrid, but I think that was just for the sake of everyone complaining about paying for tuition. But as far as I know, I'm pretty sure everything is it's remote. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of remote classes. I think it's a lot harder. I'd rather go to class. But yeah, you just gotta make what you can of it and do what you can.
Yeah, so that's a good way to look at it, and hopefully it gets back to normal as soon as possible. So growing up in California, what was the baseball culture like?
It's big. For me, I feel like in California, maybe despite football, I feel like baseball is one of the biggest sports. Some of the best travel teams come out of California. So the competition it's always been good growing up, and you know what I mean. I think that definitely growing up in California helped me get ready for baseball past, high school and for college and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so you end up at the University of Southern California, a Pac-12 school, a great school in California. Were there other California schools in the mix in making your decision?
Yeah, so originally I was committed to Fresno State for about 2 years, from late freshman, early sophomore year till basically my senior or junior year, just about junior year summer. So definitely then, as far as California schools, yeah, a lot of schools called. It was just a matter of I knew I wanted to play in the Pac. So definitely, yeah, I felt like SC was just kind of the best fit for me. At the end of my decision, it kind of came down to SC and Oregon, like Oregon State, and then I was just like, oh, I like Cali. Let's go see what SC is about.
Yeah, California is such a great state and so many great schools. So obviously, like you said, you wanted to play in the Pac-12. I'm sure there's a lot of games on your calendar that are circled that are big games because it's one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive, conference in college baseball. What's the rivalry like with UCLA? Is it as intense like football and other sports like basketball?
I definitely feel it's pretty intense. The difference between us and like other sports is we play them obviously in a weekend series, so play them 3 games. I think we haven't really had that much success against them, honestly. They kind of run over us every year, but it's a pretty intense game. It's always packed, and when we play them, whether it's us or them, I know there's definitely none of the coaches hold back. It doesn't matter if it's 15-0 or if it's 2-1. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. Basically, our pregame speech is always just go bury it down their throats. You know what I mean? Definitely, I know the same thing is for them, but it's a pretty, especially that Friday night game. That's always a good one.
Yeah, so I'm from Boston, and I know this ties into another sport, but just like USC baseball, the Celtics have the most titles in NBA. Lakers aren't too far behind them with 16. Do you feel, given with that tradition, there's some sort of like responsibility that you have to carry on and really play for those who came before you?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we just got a new coach last year, Jason Gill. Really good coach, really good guy. I feel like basically, I guess since the early 2000s, they've kind of had like a drop off. I think the culture kind of changed, and I think a lot of things changed. But I think definitely even my first 2 years here, I mean, it wasn't really the best. I can't even really say it was that fun playing baseball. You know what I mean? It's also tough having fun when you're not winning that much. But with our new coach, our culture changed. You know what I mean? I just feel like he emphasized the things that this program needed the most, which allowed us to be successful in the really short season. But I definitely feel like now with the new year, hopefully we're able to play our season and everything. But I feel like we're definitely headed back in the right direction, and at some point here pretty soon, if not this year, we'll start adding numbers to the left field wall. Hopefully some conference championships, maybe the Omaha appearance. So definitely think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it is very interesting how in pro sports and college, how one person can really change the culture. So you came into your freshman year, and obviously that's got to be hard. You're adjusting to college life, playing baseball more intense. Like it's not just practice, there's lifts, there's film, stuff like that. You led the team in on-base percentage. What was the key to leading the team in such an important category as a freshman?
For me, it was just one of those things where I just wanted to play. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see myself in that lineup every day, and I wasn't too worried about, oh my gosh, I need to go. Like I'm 0 for 3, like God forbid. But it was just more so like I just want to get on base and someone have an impact. And you know what I mean? The more of an impact I have, the more games that I'll find myself in the lineup. So it's just trying not to do too much. You know what I mean? And not worrying so much about playing, but just trying to help the team win. And I know if I did that, then I would obviously be in the lineup. So definitely realizing not playing to like start, you know what I mean? Worrying about being a freshman, not playing, but just so one of those things where like, how can I help the team win? And I feel like that kind of is what helped that, or that category be successful.
That's a great mindset to have. So obviously if you lead a important category like that, you have a big presence in the lineup or the team. But as your sophomore year came around, you started every game. Your batting average went up to 281. Your on-base percentage was 401 and 29 RBIs. When you come back as your second season or your year as a sophomore, is it easier in terms of just you kind of get what it takes to succeed as opposed when you're just a young kid coming out of high school?
Yeah, most definitely. I think for me, it was just a matter of you finally get your feet wet. I think the biggest thing I learned was that every team's different. You know what I mean? Every team plays a complete different style of baseball, realistically. So I think definitely after that year was over, being able to reflect, it was kind of like even my freshman year, I was like, okay, like we played like Arkansas, and I was like, okay, I saw some arms, like I got my feet wet, like I think I'm ready. But then you'll face another team, and then you face another team, and everybody's different. You're like, whoa, like what the heck? So you kind of feel like not lost, but you're like, geez, like how is every team so different? You know what I mean? But definitely feel like once you kind of get that first year out of the way, you know what it takes to play, start, or you know what it takes, you know what I mean, to do whatever you need to do. And I definitely think it's just one of those comfortability things. So.
Yeah, so one of the big things about, I think, with college sports is how a lot of guys come back and, have a big presence in the alumni. I think the biggest one that I see is probably for basketball is UNC or Duke. You see Jordan come back or so many of the guys playing in the league now. Do a lot of USC baseball players come back to school and see you guys? Because, you guys have Aaron Boone, Mark McGuire, Randy Johnson, some really important names in baseball history.
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, we have our alumni game every year, and usually we always get a handful of just I guess, stars, or you know what I mean, people that had an impact on the program. And then every now and again, it could be a random practice or game, or even on the road. Like when we go to Arizona every year, whether it's Arizona State or U of A, Randy Johnson always shows up just because that's where he lives. So that's always pretty cool. I've seen usually Barry Zito will come out once a year or so. Yeah, even some big time players. We even had Job Jones. He kind of helped out, kind of as an assistant coach for a little while, just kind of help guys with hitting and stuff. So I definitely think we get a decent amount of them. I definitely feel like we could get more, but You know what I mean? They also have their own life to live, and so.
Yeah, they do what they can. So I got to ask about the Cape Cod Baseball League because you were an all-star last summer. I interned for Harwich, actually.
Okay.
I've been going to Cape League games my whole life. I actually interviewed one of your teammates last summer, Cooper Davis,
Oh, yeah.
right after he won the national championship. What was that experience like for you last summer, and what were you trying to get out of it? Because I think when I see the scouts there, it seems like some guys are trying to improve for college and some guys are trying to improve for the scouts. Is it kind of like a mix?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, I guess for me, I didn't get to play summer ball the year before. I had like a really minor hip surgery. Um, and then last year, towards the end of the year, I'd like fractured my foot. So for me, it was just a matter of getting back out there, just trying to stay healthy. You know what I mean? Do what I can to kind of just put myself in a good position. I basically set myself up in a good position for when my junior year season kind of rolled around. Um, and yeah, that was really it. That's my favorite baseball experience I've had yet. I had a really cool team. Coaches were phenomenal. I actually got to play with Coach Holiday again this summer, which is a blast again. I love being around him and Mickey Tettleton. But yeah, it was definitely a blast. Like I said, one of my favorite baseball experiences I've been through. And it's a whole lot of fun. You know what I mean? That's something I tell everybody. I'm like, dude, you need to go experience that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is the best experience, whether you're a player, a fan, or scout. It's the place to be over the summer. And I got a question. Do you reminisce when you're on the field in terms of who's been there before? Because, not too long ago, guys like Chris Bryant, Evan Longoria, even Aaron Judge, who's arguably going to be the face of the league soon. Is it hard to not get caught up in the moment of who's been there before?
I wouldn't necessarily say get caught up, but it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, man, like it's cool just to like have the opportunity to even be here with, you know what I mean, the talent that's been here before you. So it's definitely one of those things where you're just kind of like, wow, like it's good stuff. I definitely miss it. I was actually going to go back out there like in this summer, just for like 2 weeks, or just to kind of like get some baseball in before the draft, and then obviously got canceled. And I was like bummed out. I was like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, hopefully they can bring it back next summer. So even though the season was cut short, you had an unbelievable start. Batted 378, second on the team, seventh in the Pac-12. What's the key to just getting better each year? Because I did see on your bio that someone you look up to was Kobe Bryant. Do you try and apply what he preaches and try and take it into your sport as well?
Definitely. I think for me, obviously, he obviously plays basketball, but growing up, he's always been my favorite athlete. I've had a fat head up in my room since, I walk basically. But, yeah, for me, it's just his mentality. You know what I mean? Because, obviously he is Kobe Bryant, but even if he wasn't as good, I personally feel like he would have still been really good just by his mentality. And so I kind of try and bring that into, I guess, my game and even just everyday life. You know what I mean? Could be worse. That's usually what I'll tell myself, and that's something that he'd preach is like a lot of people don't like to really not say work hard, but a lot of people are given, their talent and, but you know what I mean? It could be worse. So, when I go work out a couple times a day and do all that, that's usually what I think about. You know what I mean? It does get tiring and a little redundant, but it could be worse.
Yeah, it is really interesting how much his mentality can be applied to everyday life. I'm sure you saw that commercial that dropped on the 24th of August. So last question, you're one of those guys that can play multiple positions and do it really well. How do you think that's going to help you going forward and reaching the next level?
I think I have no idea how it'll help or hurt, but it's one of those things where I kind of started off in high school as a shortstop, showed up, kind of played third a little bit, and then I just kind of couldn't really – it wasn't for me at the time, you know what I mean? My freshman year, like during the fall, I don't know what it was. Couldn't really get a grip of it. Went out to the outfield, enjoyed that. would split time a little bit at first and right. But I definitely feel like it's one of those things to where it can help a team. You know what I mean? Definitely can't hurt a team to have a player that could play in different positions. And I'm not too bad at any of them. So, yeah, I definitely feel like it can help.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jamal, I really appreciate you for coming on my show. I wish you the best of luck going forward, and hopefully we can get a spring baseball season, and we'll stay in touch, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.